Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Planet FPL, the world where everything revolves around Fantasy Premier League. My name's Serge.
My name is James.
And everybody's back to get their weekly fix of Premier League related chat, FPL related chat. Game week 11's over.
Game week 12 is coming.
It is thick and fast before a nice little stupid international break. It's back again for the third time.
You just blink and it comes back again,
weeks.
doesn't it?
It is stupid, this international break. I'm with you on it. It's dumb. Nothing to add is dumb.
But a monster weekend to look forward to before the break.
In terms of
fixtures at the weekend.
In terms of football, yes, it makes it pretty tricky from an FPL point of view if captaincy is already a bit of a talking point and what have you. But yeah, as always, each and every week we will run down our teams, run down the matches, and we've got some Twitter questions and all of that other stuff that we do.
Coming in, let's crack on. What should we talk about? How was your weekend?
Weekend was average to bad overall, I would say.
Average to bad.
Yeah, it was below average. Below average. England didn't win the Rugby World Cup, and also that game disappeared. Like you could just tell from minute one it wasn't going to be our day. Followed by, it took me 2.5 hours to get to London Stadium. So I left home at 11:30, didn't get there till 1:30, and felt just awful after being in the car for just over 2 and a bit hours or whatever it was. Watched that garbage. I think it's the worst performance of the season by a long way. And that's saying a lot because we were bad against Everton and we were bad against Sheffield United as well. Watched that. Took another 2.5 hours to get home. By then, I had such a headache. I only had 2 beers all day. I had a Guinness in the morning at 8:30 or 9 o'clock.
I thought you were going to get twatted.
Yeah, I didn't want to in the end. And then I had a pint at the stadium and that was it before the game. And still had a bit of a headache from all of that nonsense. Ended up with 64 points though.
That's all right.
Well, it's okay, considering I didn't take any hits. Unlike last week where all my points came from the midfield, this time almost all my points came from the defence, like most people. Lundstrum, Robertson, Trent. I'm with you. This Trent and Robertson thing, I don't know how people don't go with both of them. Just consistently returning attacking points at the moment.
Well, you put Lundstrum in the middle of those 3 now.
Yeah,
and that's near template, mate.
Yeah, I'm sticking with that for now. Edison in goal. I thought the goal they conceded, he was a bit sloppy. Could have held on to it, probably.
Definitely.
Nothing from my midfield. Maddison was the only one that returned, and he did pick up maximum bonus points off just an assist as well, which I was impressed with. I was impressed with his performance overall. He could have created 2 or 3 goals. His double-digit big return is only around the corner. And I had a goal and bonus points from Aubameyang as well, which was nice before I ship him off. So it was a nice way to say goodbye. Overall, it was okay. 64 points, game week average of 53. Gave me a rise from 1.9 something to 1.6 something. I shouldn't argue with a 300,000 place rise.
Nice.
But feels like what could have been a little bit always as well. Every week feels like what could have been. Mainly because so many other people had such good weeks. If you look down the Correspondence League, I mean, Tomo sitting at the top, 81, 70, 83, 65, 59, 75, 66. Literally, bar 2 teams in the top 15, everybody scored more, and I thought 64 was not a bad score.
Yeah, this felt like, to me, like the first weekend where I think there was a disparity between...
It was a bad week to have a good week.
Well, no, a disparity between what the actual game average was and the live team average.
Correct.
This felt like the real first week where I felt like, well, everybody looks like they beat the average here. So... Yeah, a strong week. I think most people had a good week. You spoke there, Suj, about so often it feels like what might have been. I mean, my week was the complete opposite of that.
Yeah,
mine was
right?
How big a fuck up could it have been?
Yeah.
And I got away with it with the worst best -4 of all time, I think. I took a -4. For those who listened to the final plan Friday, I went Matip to Chilwell. And I decided to go Otamendi to Mendy as the -4. And I made that decision. A lot of people said, "Oh, you could leave it," and it's true because I left John Lundstrum as first sub, and I decided to play Pookie because I'm a fucking rebel, and left Lundstrum as first sub. Now, had I left it, I would have ended up with Lundstrum on the bench and with Otamendi coming on for his 1-pointer in the 93rd minute or wherever it was. As it was, I took a -4 for a player who didn't even play, and it worked out to my benefit to a net 16, because obviously the -4, a net 16 point better return. And I finished on 70. -4.
Yeah, 66, so not bad. Another green arrow for you.
Had I not taken that hit, it would have finished on 54.
Yeah, which would have probably been a red arrow for you. And
I would have finished on 50.
Yeah. So it would have been a red arrow more than likely, not a green arrow.
If I hadn't have had Lundstrum come in, I would have dropped 300,000 places.
Wow. Halved your
As
rank.
It turned out, my
Doubled
70 -4... No, not at all. I rose only 20,000 places.
No, sorry. You would have gone from 300,000 to 600,000.
Correct.
Like that, so you would have doubled your rank.
I'm now at 317,000. And that felt like a week. I just needed to keep my chin above water. But yeah, I mean,
ended up working
if
out.
If it's Mendy comes on rather than Otamendi at the end, brutal. And I think there was a lot of people who obviously ended up with Lundstrum being blocked.
Yeah.
By people coming on, such as Otamendi, Campbell, a couple of others that I've forgotten for the time being, but there was others who've got it lucky, like me with no Mendy. People would have got some, I think, with obviously no Kane yesterday. So yeah, this time I got the rub of the green, and it's nothing but lucky. There's no other way of describing. I've heard a few people say, "Oh yeah, well done, James. You at least you put Lundstrom first sub." What do you think I was going to do? Not do that? No, I've just been jammy as fuck. Stevens and Cantwell. So there's not even a decision to make there, is there?
Lundstrum is the guy.
The decision now, of course, is because that's incredible. Like the 21 points he's got there might be the biggest return of any player in any game week this season. It's possible. In hindsight, we all should have triple captained him this week.
Well, I was listening to, I dipped in on the live stream from FPL Family last night. Do you know how many people triple captained Lundstrum this week?
Really? Go on.
Have a guess. I don't know where Lee got the stat from. Lee, if you're listening,
just for jokes, I reckon about 500.
Nah, not as much as that. Come on, man. 500 people triple captain in Lundstrum.
You get mad ones, didn't you? It's like Mertesacker. What was it the other year when he scored at Watford? He hadn't made an appearance all season, and then it comes out he scores at Watford, and 12 people triple captained him. What the fuck is that?
I think it was 16 people triple captained.
Oh, I'm surprised it's that low.
Well, I suppose now that the game's tipped over 7 million people, you might think that there might be a couple higher, but.
He's got 68 points. We can't joke no more.
No.
And the thing is, like now, if you take my scenario with wildcard in hand and probably thinking to wildcard game week 18 or 19, I have to make the judgment call now that this guy's playing every week. And if that means I'm playing a back five, rather than what I'd got him in for, which was to be my first or second sub, I've got to play him.
Yeah.
Because his ownership it's at 38.7% at the time of recording. It is going to go well in excess of 40%, 45%. I wouldn't be surprised if by the time the Tottenham game comes around at the weekend, he's going to rise above 5 million. There's no doubt about it. So it's not even too late to get on. Just get it done. And the fixtures with them, Tottenham away. I've seen teams come and frustrate us this year. Man United at home. You trust Man United to go to Bramall Lane and score. And then it's Wolves away, another team who can get frustrated when they're given the ball. And then Newcastle at home, Norwich away, Villa at home, Brighton away, Watford at home, before City and Liverpool consecutive games 20 and 21. He's actually at the moment, he's got to play.
I had the idea of the next 2 game weeks, Tottenham and United, to rotate him with Rico, who's sitting as my first sub. I think I'll play him now. He's worked his way into the starting lineup. And now Rico, off the back of 3 clean sheets, is now knocking on the door as well. But Lundstrom's a different case, really.
The problem is, and this is where I really made a mistake, in hindsight, perhaps over Pookie, was that the ceiling was always higher for Lundstrom. really, in hindsight. It is easy
With a
to
clean
say in
sheet,
hindsight.
for sure, yeah.
But this guy's powering. He's the midfield runner. He's not an OOP defender playing holding midfield. And you might get the odd assist or something. He is the one breaking forward from midfield. So it's even the case at the moment that, Spurs might beat Sheffield United 4-1 at the weekend. And he might score, mate, and it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
So at the moment, we can't leave him out.
No.
I think generally across the board, and I'd put my hands up and say I made a massive mistake at the weekend.
I'm just having a tally up. I've managed to get 43 of his 68 points, which is not bad considering how bad the rest of my squad's
Well, I'm
been.
on 2 game weeks. I'm on at 11.5 points per week. So I'll take that.
Interesting indeed. So yeah, a funny old game week. One where captaincy blanks everywhere. If you look at the data released by the official account, 1.5 million people captaining Sterling. Between Sterling, Aguero, and Kevin De Bruyne, 3 million people. Woo! That's almost half the game. Definitely half of the live.
That's
players.
mad when you've got Salah, Mane as alternatives.
Exactly. So 3 million people just on City assets, and Aguero is the only one that returned in what could have been, really. So yeah, it's one of those where a game week average of 53 with no captaincy is a crazy one.
Yeah, massive average considering most people would have missed it. I think there's a big decision for people like myself to make now over Raheem Sterling.
It's one of the most asked questions in the Twitter questions, mate.
I think. Should we leave it then?
Well, yeah, I think we should look at it because there's a lot of questions around not just Raheem Sterling but City attacking assets.
Okay.
In the Twitter questions for sure.
We'll hold it till then.
We shall indeed. So that was obviously it was one of the talking points from the weekend. Have you have any thoughts on what you're doing this game week? Do you have 1 or 2 transfers now?
Do you want to cover it in the Twitter queues? Do you want to cover it now? I think
Well,
I'm in a position where I feel like team looks strong. I mean, at the moment, I'm leaving Mendy as first sub away to Liverpool, and I play Lundstrum. It's a move I don't make in terms of leaving out premium defenders. I just generally don't do it, but on this occasion, I'm going to. I think that's an easy call, isn't it?
Well,
Lundstrom at Tottenham or Mendy at Liverpool.
Doing a Pep, leaving Mendy on the bench.
Yeah, and there's every chance. The fixture was 0-0 last year. Leaves me in a position where, having sold Matip this week, I'm down to 4 players in the game.
Yep.
Currently 2 Liverpool, 2 Man City. I think come the weekend it'll be 3 Liverpool and 1 Man City. I think I'm going Sterling to Mane.
And just get that move done.
Yeah, I think so. I can't see too many weeks coming up where I can have the faith and reliability to captain Raheem Sterling when Liverpool clearly often have better fixtures. And I would argue so do Leicester and Chelsea on certain game days. So I think I'm going to go Sterling to Mane. It's the right time. I've just come off that 3 Liverpool defensive. It's possibly a game earlier than I'd want to, but if I'd looked at both teams and went, which player from the 2 teams is most likely to return on Sunday in that big game at the moment, I'd say it is Sadio Mane.
Yeah, considering Liverpool are at home and the City defence is worse than the Liverpool defence, I think Liverpool more likely to score. Interestingly, I put a tweet out yesterday morning where I'd preempted what I was potentially going to do, which was I need to get Vardy and Abraham in. As Abraham as much because his ownership is so high now that I can't carry on not owning Tammy Abraham. And the same goes for Jamie Vardy. He's creeping up at a rate of knots and his price is going up. So Callum Wilson and Aubameyang to Vardy and Abraham makes a lot of sense. I was then also looking at binning off Yarmolenko. West Ham are so bad that, I can't go another week with him in the team. And I was looking at Leandro Trossard. A lot of people highlighted to me that their fixtures were particularly bad. But do you know what? I'd fancy Brighton against United. I'd fancy Brighton against Arsenal.
There is possibly a case to be made that if you take away the current top 4 that don't even look at the fixtures. That's an argument at the moment.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
Don't believe Brighton. I think Brighton have got Liverpool away coming up,
Yeah.
but otherwise it's all right.
Yeah, they've got a few tough fixtures actually. I mean, they've got United this weekend coming, then they've got Liverpool Sorry, then they've got Leicester.
They've got Leicester coming up as
then
well.
Liverpool, then Arsenal, and then it actually gets a bit better. But Trossard, I think, can return at any time. Having that in mind, obviously, Son managed to get himself unfortunately sent off yesterday. I say unfortunately, we'll talk about that. It was a horrendous situation to be in. And so that's forced my hand. I may need to hold Yarmolenko for 1 week longer. And if I'm taking a hit, then the hit's going to be to get Son to Sadio Mane. And so I'll end up with Mane, Abraham and Vardy coming in, and Aubameyang, Callum Wilson and Son leaving my squad. And I'll probably pull the trigger tonight because all of the players that I'm looking to get in are in demand and likely to rise. And all of the players I'm getting rid of are looking to drop in value. Aubameyang's already had a drop. Callum Wilson's likely to have a drop after 4 blanks in a row. Son's obviously suspended, so he has had a drop, but he's likely to drop again.
Yeah, just be cautious, Champions League this week, mate.
I know. It's just that the budget is very, very, very tight. I've only got a 0.2 wiggle room in there, so just one of those transfers shifting both ways.
If you want to go Abraham and Mane and Vardy, for example.
Well, Vardy hasn't got Champions League.
Well, no, but then Abraham and Mane both play Tuesday. So you've only got to hold on for the extra 24 hours and then wait through the game and make the transfer late Tuesday night.
Correct. If they go tonight, though, I'm done.
Well, yeah, that's your problem.
It is my problem. So at that point, it does leave me in an interesting situation with 2 City, 2 Chelsea, 2 Leicester, 3 Liverpool.
Abraham's ownership now is 48.1%.
Yeah.
Jamie Vardy is up to 27.5%, I believe. Yeah, spot on. That's more than doubled in 10 days.
Crazy, yeah?
Yep.
So I think I might pull the trigger. I'll sleep a lot better tonight when I've got Mane, Vardy and Abraham in my team. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So I
actually felt the benefit. I was lucky but last week I felt with the League Cup fixtures, I didn't feel like I needed to wait. I literally just waited for Leicester team to make sure Chilwell wasn't playing at Burton on the Tuesday night. Same with Mendy playing Southampton in the League Cup before the league game. So literally just waited for Leicester City. I think you should do similar and then make your move if you're happy to. If you know, I mean, your Son's your Spurs asset you're going to sell anyway, presumably.
Yeah.
But then do you want to wait? I mean, I've not heard anything about a potential appeal at the time of recording. Have you?
No, I have not. And I mean, Pochettino, if you look at his post-match press, he was pretty adamant that they were going to be looking to appeal it. And so I'm
you
sure
might want to wait.
Yeah.
You know, if he is available, mate, yeah, you'll be losing the value in the meantime.
Good.
But
he did look good against Everton, as in a bunch of bad.
Did he? I thought it was quite quiet.
Pacey.
They all were.
I just like, he's one of those players that runs quicker with the ball than without sometimes. He's just rapid. I just like the way he moves. I like Son. I like the way he runs with the ball. So, just looking on Fix and that for price rise, the only one that's looking like it's going today is Maddison at the moment, who I already own. I've had a lot of price rise out of him, 7.4 now. He's really creeping up. Should we talk about some of these games?
Yeah, man.
Let's start with the early kickoff. Bournemouth 1, Manchester United 0. Not really surprised here that Bournemouth won.
Not really, no.
It could have gone either way. What's your thoughts on Josh King now? I mean, he's consistently returning.
Cheap.
And he's cheap.
Yeah. You know when you buy the Bournemouth asset, it's going to be at the wrong time.
Yeah. That's why I know.
I know. It, mate.
If anybody else is listening or watching and you own Callum Wilson, hold him, because as soon as I sell him, he's returning. But the consistency isn't there really with King. It's like returns, 2 blanks, returns, blank, returns, 2 blanks, returns. But then he is at that price, 6.3.
Yeah,
million.
and you can't knock 6 attacking returns in 10 starts, basically.
Yeah.
And a 28-minute sub appearance against Norwich. And if he'd started against Norwich, they might have won the game, arguably. I feel like the experiment of trying to force Dominic Solanke into this team is probably over. And actually, him back alongside Wilson makes Bournemouth a lot more potent, in my opinion. Fraser's back and running in the team. Harry Wilson played okay. Got Danjuma kind of waiting in the wings. David Brooks shouldn't be too far away. There's attacking talents at Bournemouth. You'll get it wrong, whichever one you go for.
That's always the difficulty. We talk about everybody's well versed in their attacking talents, but it's their defensive. Excuse me, I had to choke there when I was thinking 3 clean sheets on the bounce. It's their defensive resolve.
Incredible. Ramsdale's up to 4.6.
Is confusing people a little bit. All I would say is West Ham kept 3 clean sheets in a row earlier this season, and it's the perfect comparison that just as easily as we've kept 3 clean sheets, we've conceded in every game since. It wouldn't surprise me if Bournemouth concede in every game in the next 5. I'm not reading too much into their defensive resolve in the last few yet. Having said that, I own Rico, but he's so cheap at 4.2 million.
Yeah, just looking at Bournemouth's next 6, it includes Tottenham away, Chelsea away, and Liverpool at home. And the other 3 fixtures, Newcastle away, Wolves at home, and Palace are away, all against even the other 3 sides. I mean, you'd argue the 3 of them are better defensively than Spurs, possibly, and maybe even Chelsea to a certain extent. So I certainly wouldn't be going in on Bournemouth attacking coverage. I think King at 6.3 is, for the value, is hard to argue, and Wilson can return at any time. I wouldn't panic to throw him out, man. That's how I feel for you.
What about Manchester?
I'm not buying them.
No, definitely not.
And those clean sheets, they ain't going to last forever. Although I have to say, Aki and Cook were fantastic at centre half. I know Aki will always be the one who gets the plaudits. I thought Cook was really good, and that when we spoke with Neil at AFCBNG on Clash of the Correspondents, we spoke about the importance now of Billing and the wind-up merchant Jefferson Lerma playing in front of them, and how it's a lot more physical and they don't get too far ahead of the ball and give them a bit more protection. They are improving defensively.
100%.
I still ain't buying them.
No.
I mean, I would consider
You'd go to
Rico.
Sheffield United or anywhere. Rico's there as on my bench.
But if I move, I'm looking at the Mendy move now as a mistake and going, that's not, I can get that down to a Rico.
Yep.
And then move that money elsewhere. So, yeah, Rico's fine as 5th defender.
Manchester United here. What were your thoughts on... Let's talk about the VAR penalty first against Martial. Penalty or no penalty?
I can't even remember it.
He came... I think it might have even been Lerma came in and barged him off the ball and he went down.
The fact that I can't remember it can't have been a penalty.
I thought it was a penalty looking at it. I don't know. Football's technically
Was you on that second pint of Guinness at this stage?
Nah. Football's a non-contact sport in theory, right? Technically.
No one wants it to be a non-contact
No,
sport.
but okay, if you're running shoulder to shoulder, I think there's a case to be said that you got to be stronger. This guy came in and took him out, in my opinion.
I can't even remember the challenge.
Okay.
Honestly, I can't remember.
I thought he came in and took him out.
I don't know if I went for a Waz or something at that point. I can't remember it.
Well, there we go. I thought it was a penalty. Anyone else can tweet at me and tell me that it wasn't a penalty if they don't agree with it. But I just thought it was a little bit aggressive. But Martial through the middle.
Oh, I do know what you're talking about, and they squared up to each other.
Yeah.
No way, it's never a pen, mate.
You don't think so? I thought he took him out.
No, it's not a pen, man.
He came in and side swiped him.
No, it's not a pen.
I don't know. It was on the list of all the VAR decisions I disagreed with from the weekend, including Son's penalty.
Well, the Dele Alli handball's definitely a penalty.
And that
definitely,
one as well.
mate.
That one I'm 60-40 probably was a penalty, but Son's was a penalty.
The Son one I didn't think it was.
But if the guy hadn't taken his leg, he would have carried on playing.
There was a certain angle where it did look like his foot got trapped, and I thought, the longer they kept looking at it, I thought they might give this out. Yeah. And the Dele Alli handball one, they froze it about 25 times, didn't they?
Yeah.
How many times you need to look? It's handball, mate.
I don't know.
It was a penalty.
Anyone from Manchester United tickling your pickle? Anyone from Manchester United that you fancy?
I can't be dealing with them going forward, mate. I feel I'm in a place with United in terms of asset-wise for FPL, a little bit like how I was when Jose was still in charge, where it was like, do you know what? Until he's out the door, I don't really care. And until they've got someone in the middle of the pitch who can feed these 3 against teams who are going to sit deeper against them, like Bournemouth did at the weekend, I don't see them returning much. That's not to say Rashford can't return. We spoke last week about how good Martial's returns have been when he's played for United.
Yeah.
I just feel like with United, the fixture list is a blinder because they're really struggling when they have to break down the opposition. If they don't score first, they're absolutely fucked.
Yeah.
So not interested, in my opinion. But if you've gone on Rashford or Martial pre this week or pre Norwich,
there's a lot
then
of
yeah,
green in the
absolutely it's
FPL,
fine.
but-
You hold with it. I'm not saying sell. It just doesn't interest me.
No. Arsenal 1, Wolves 1. I don't feel like I have a particularly good perspective on this game because the
Wolves
highlights
had so many shots.
Well, if you look at the highlights on YouTube, the Sky Sports Football presented highlights, and you watch it, you'd think that Arsenal had the majority of the game because they only showed the Arsenal chances. And I was like, hang on a second here. From the stats, Wolves had 25 shots, Arsenal had 10, but I'm not seeing any of it in the carefully selected and chosen highlights package that you've decided to put in front of me. So I don't feel like I have a fair reflection on what happened in the game based on the highlights that I've seen. But I do know from the reports I've read and the feedback is that Wolves were unlucky. They gave Arsenal a game and a half.
Wolves certainly deserves something out of the game. I think you can be a little bit blinded by
Stats,
the statistics here. That's massively impressive for a Wolves side who, not for the first time, countered really well and caused problems. I mean, that said, if who was it was marking Moutinho who let him go for the throw-in? Was it Torreira maybe? I actually feel bad that I'm not sure. But yeah, if you defend the throw-in properly, they probably end up winning the game here. Obviously interested for Arsenal that Ozil played.
The whole 90?
In what was essentially a diamond formation. No introduction in the game for Pepe at all. The only way Arsenal can get Ozil into this team is by playing this system. It's the only way. They can't play him. They kind of played him in this half and half position when they played at Watford in game week. I think it was 5, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's the only formation. You play 3 midfielders behind him who can protect him, and he's got the runners of sort of an Aubameyang and Lacazette or a combination of one of them with Pepe in front so he can find them. And you accept all his limitations and then know that, yes, he can be the creative player in this team. I didn't watch the 5-5 at Liverpool, but everybody thought for an hour he was amazing against Liverpool's youth team. Great, congratulations. And by all accounts, he did play quite well again at the weekend. But I don't know if that stays like that. It felt like he was in that team because Emery wanted to relieve a bit of pressure off himself, in my opinion.
People have been on
and the
this
fans
case for
have
a
been
while.
calling for it, and there's been a lot of blame pre and post Xhaka incident aimed at Emery, and I think the call-in was very much for Ozil, so the fans got what they wanted and probably still moaned about it. I don't know, I just know what they're like. It's not a surprise. We looked at Arsenal before the Sheffield United fixture and went, yeah, look at them fixtures, Sheffield United, Palace, Wolves. They're not as good on paper as they look on paper, basically, and they've taken 2 points out of the 3 of them. Go to Leicester this weekend, and you can't see anything from them other than getting beat the way Leicester are playing at the moment. Just don't see Leicester getting stage fright or anything. Just playing with too much quality at the moment.
I'm with you on that. I'm going to be moving away from Aubameyang. I just think that he's going to tick along with ones and maybe the odd assist, but he's not going to be explosive coming in off the left. Although he could have had a couple of other goals as well if his finishing was a bit more on point. Wolves still continue to impress without in the way of a Lundstrum or Sheffield United banging on the door saying, you need me in your team right now. Anybody that's bought Jimenez is going to be happy, and they've got him at a good price at 7.1. He's now 7.2.
He still is a good price.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I don't doubt that. It's just
I still have Pookie, and I'm going to hold Pookie into this Watford fixture. I feel like I've come so far. Fuck it, I'm going to go through the Watford fixture as well. And I just don't see Sterling returning at the weekend at Liverpool, even in spite of that problem area in between Alexander-Arnold and right-sided centre-half. I'd rather keep Pookie for the Watford fixture and fire him straight out afterwards. And if I make a direct move from forward to forward, Jimenez is definitely the choice for me. And then I'm almost done. Jimenez, Abraham, Vardy. If that's my 3, I've just got to forget about it. There's no movement, which is why I probably won't do that. I'll go for Connolly and rework the funds into midfield. Yeah, quite possibly.
A bit of wheeling and dealing.
Yeah.
Villa 1, Liverpool 2. I mean, I think this Liverpool side are just animals in the ruthless way. They just want to win games. That's why I think they're going to beat City at the weekend. I think it's at Anfield. Defensively, they're more stable, and City will struggle to keep up with the pace and intensity that Liverpool are going to approach them with. That's not to say that City can't hurt them, because they have tactically in the past. Pep is not an idiot. He knows what he'll try and do. But, I mean, credit to Villa for trying. And in the end, the 2 goals that Liverpool scored, you can't say, like, the goal, the penalty against Leicester in the dying minutes, maybe they got a bit of the rub of the green. Here, net, they deserved the 3 points, and the last 2 goals were good goals from Mane and Robertson, and just...
That said, Villa defended very well for a long time in the game, and look, you go 1-0 up against a side like that, you have every right to sit back and try and soak it up, and they very nearly got there, right?
Yeah, they did.
So Villa a little unlucky, but eventually the only thing that's going to stop Liverpool is time. They'll get there in the end. The late equaliser at Old Trafford as well. Yeah. So you've now got this result, 1-0 down against Spurs, late equaliser at Old Trafford, late penalty against Leicester. So they're picking up the late results as well. Remember when they kept conceding the clean sheets early?
Yep.
Now they're growing stronger into games as well. I think I agree with you. I think they'll beat City at the weekend. I think Guardiola will have to come up with something interesting, which in fairness in the league game he did last year when he kind of went to kind of like a 4-4-1-1 basically and played David Silva in the hole and locked things down a little bit. And after City got through the opening kind of 10-15 minutes, the game kind of calmed down a bit. Obviously Mahrez, if you remember, missed the penalty. They should have won it at the end. But I think City have got far more defensive problems at the moment. I can't see them stopping Liverpool from getting a couple of goals in the game.
No. A lot of questions around the tripling up on Liverpool now after this week or even this week. I mean, most people will have at least 1 or 2. But the question a lot of people asked on Twitter is, what's the best Liverpool trio? Is it TAA, Robbo and Mane? Or is it Salah, TAA and Mane? I'm going like the BPS from the weekend, Mane, Trent and Robbo. And I think that answers the question for me. The fact that both of us are going to be on that trio, I think highlights what our opinion is. But there's the counter argument on Mo Salah is that he's not 100% right now. His ankle injury is holding him back or slowing him down, and he's being given the curly finger a little bit because of that. After the international break, he'll be back to full fitness and we'll see a different Mo Salah. Do you have any thoughts on tripling up on Liverpool and what the best direction to go is?
Yeah, I mean, TAA and Robbo are absolute locks for me. I might just play around a little bit around that blank, around game week 18. Otherwise, those 2 are going absolutely nowhere till we hit, the final 8 game weeks of the season, blanks, doubles, and reassess then. I think they're still, in my opinion, the 2 best FPL assets in the game. I think their returns are underwhelming based against what they could be, because they're both astonishing fullbacks. Nobody's come back to me on my comment last week where I said, tell me if there's a better fullback in either position in the world. No one said anything yet. Please do come and tell me. Trent's delivery is absolutely ridiculous.
His stats from the weekend were just mental. Energy, more touches in the opposition box area. The
energy of Robertson is phenomenal. You watch him sometimes and you think, I wonder what he's taking.
Yeah, getting into
he's
that,
on some stuff.
The speed he came in to put the ball in the back of the net that late in the game was just mental. Yeah,
desire. He's a leader as well, Robertson.
Yeah,
I think
him.
Alexander-Arnold will grow into one. The pair of them are the 2 best creative players at the club. They're fullbacks. I mean, Trent is. You kind of run out of superlatives for him. It's fucking astonishing.
His corners and everything.
And I do feel in terms of Mane or Salah, I've said for weeks Mane. I'm in a position now where I'm probably about to buy him. He's 0.3 less than Salah. I believe that there is a possibility that in 2 or 3 weeks that Mane will not only have possibly close on to double the ownership of Salah, but it also cost more.
Yeah, 32% ownership on Mane at the moment. I'm not sure what Salah's ownership.
There's not a huge
dropping.
amount difference. Salah's down to 27.8.
Yeah.
I can see that stretching towards 20 and 40
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
Quickly as
and
well.
the price of Mane 12, Salah 12.3, I can see it cost. If Mane has a serious return this weekend and Salah doesn't, and then you're walking into them Liverpool fixtures of where you're really looking at them going, yeah, captain them, then I think people will make the switch. Even the hardest of Salah supporters will begin to make that switch. For me, it's a case of when I look at the amazing things that particularly Trent is doing at the moment, I don't see Salah's going to be on many of them.
no.
Mane, I said it so many times, I feel like he scores such a variety of goals. The header that he's got at the weekend, I don't believe that Salah scores that goal.
No.
Now, Salah's probably got a little bit more technically in terms of dribbling, a bit of skill. I think Mane is so underrated. So underrated. And I wouldn't be surprised if in 6 months we're dishing out Player of the Year awards and this guy's not coming into contention. I don't know if that's a thing about African players.
Possibly.
I don't know, maybe that we deem them to be less intelligent or something in some sort of way. This guy is a very, very clever footballer. I think he's close to being considered among the top players in the world. Definitely Mane over Salah for me.
Yeah. Let's talk about Brighton 2, Norwich 0. I mean, Brighton are now consistently getting a decent run of results. Manchild's into the room and he's looking around the floor like he's looking for something. What are you looking for, Manchild? The FPL points? Because they ain't fucking down there, I'll tell you that.
Manchild just comes in here and loves to distract me and put me off.
Is that what his game plan is?
The beer was open.
Do you want a beer?
No, he wants the chocolate and vanilla beer.
Oh, right. Okay, I'll open that. Next time you come in, I'll have it.
Yeah. Manchild, good week this week. Well done.
Really?
Yeah.
29 points.
29 points,
What did you
mate.
get?
What's a banger?
64.
Oh shit. Are you nice and comfortable? Right where I fucking want you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're bottom of the league. You're bottom of the league.
He has got Jimenez in his defence, if that's something.
Brighton and Hove Albion.
Yes.
Yeah, Trossard.
Tidy. He's the one that I really want in place of Yarmolenko. Question from a lot of people. Well, firstly, people said don't do it because of the fixtures. I think I might now not be able to do it because of the red card. But who is he going to come in for? Is it a case of Connolly, you've had your little run now, go back to being on the bench because you're a kid? Is it Pascal Gross? I think Connolly is the one that's going to
I think
with
because
Trossard.
of the fixtures, you're possibly right. But then Potter has done things that have been quite surprising. If you think back to when we had Sam at FPLC go on before they beat Spurs, and we were talking about them stylistically being actually quite similar to Sheffield United in terms of the building out and the overlapping of the two wide centre halves. Suddenly he moves to Burn at left back. Burn looks like this really adventurous 6'6" left back who can actually play football. I suspect you're probably right, Serge, in terms of it probably would be Connolly to come out. I don't think that matters from an FPL perspective because you probably wouldn't be starting Connolly in many of these upcoming fixtures. But they're certainly going to work Trossard back into the team, and I think Gross will stay in that team as well. So, yeah, you could see a front three, couldn't you, of Gross and Trossard behind Mopé with a more solid midfield three.
They'll score goals, I think, as well.
They're just a really good side at the moment. When we spoke with Sam before they played us, we looked at the 4 games, didn't we? And we kind of said, as well as they've been playing, they'd probably need to be targeting sort of 2 or 3 wins out of the 4 before this little run. 9 points. And the game they lost, by the way, obviously were ahead at Villa and went down to 10 men. Just think they're a really good side. Got no concerns about them.
Norwich on the other hand.
Just feels, timing wise, feels a little wrong.
Yeah. They do have a tough fixtures in the next 4. So let's keep an eye on Brighton. Norwich are now done, aren't they? Could have been if Stiepermann's effort, which was a good effort to hit the bar, had gone in. Maybe the kind of direction of the game would have been a bit different. But they're not keeping clean sheets. They're not scoring any goals. Pukki's completely off the boil. Understandably, they've got tons of injuries. They're done, mate.
Yeah, this is last chance for. But I'd say last chance. I'm actually going to sell Pukki whatever he does at the weekend, even if he scores a hat trick. Everton away afterwards, probably shouldn't be feared. Arsenal at home afterwards, probably shouldn't be feared. Southampton away, then Sheffield United at home, probably shouldn't be feared. But yeah, enough.
I think they lack a little bit of nous, right? Take the Watford game at the weekend. I just think Watford will be a bit cuter and cleverer in the way they play the game. They'll take it to them physically, and Sanchez Flores, I think, will just know with the Premier League experience how to handle and manage the game. That's why I think Watford will beat them at the weekend.
I mean, 6 point already, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. No doubt about it. I don't think there'll be too many listeners at the moment will think either Norwich or Watford will stay up. And unfortunately, I still think, in spite of the difference in points, I think probably more of the guys would probably more fancy Watford at the moment. 'Cause although they got well beat by Chelsea Saturday, you're starting to feel like there's a little turn defensively. If they can start scoring goals, there might be a turn for them. Norwich to worry about defensively. It felt like Amadou had been playing quite well, and then Teti goes into centre half at the weekend. You think, that's not right.
No.
And for long periods, they did okay, but without ever threatening. Didn't have a shot on target. Stiepermann at the bar at 0-0, but it was about all they did. They're struggling. Like Pukki, I think any Norwich investment, Cantwell, Pukki, get it sold after Friday, and there's nothing wrong with selling it now if you've had enough. I've seen a few people are not even waiting for Watford, just get it done. I feel like, though, it's worth holding Pukki for this week. Probably as well because I'm at the value where I bought at 6.7. I've accepted I'm not going to get the profit out of it. He's 6.8 now. He'll probably kick off at 6.7 Friday night, and then I'll bin.
Manchester City 2, Southampton 1. JWP back in the mix. Love a bit of James Ward-Prowse. Having said that, I did think Edison should have held the shot for the goal.
He definitely should have held it.
But you know what? Right place at the right time. It always surprises me why defenders don't gamble on the spill, but strikers always do seem to gamble on the keeper spilling it. Maybe it's just mentality not built that way.
Well, I don't know. If you watch Bournemouth and Man United on Saturday, every time there was a spill, it was a Bournemouth defender clearing it rather than a Rashford or a Martial following it in. So I think it's a little bit about mentality.
Yeah, quite possibly. Having said that, I don't know. There's a lot of talk around City attackers and what to do. De Bruyne only getting an assist last week and nothing this week. Sterling, everyone's up in arms. Aguero's been sticking along reasonably consistently, but
when he plays,
that's true. Would you ever expect two players from City to get bonus points and them to be the two fullbacks in Walker and Angelino? I think that kind of sums up.
No, if you'd have said that pre-kickoff, you'd have probably said Cancelo and Mendy, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Probably like what I was thinking.
So that kind of goes to show the lack of rhythm, but write them off at your peril, these guys, because they are so good. Kevin De Bruyne could have easily picked up a goal or an assist. I mean, the ball he played through to Jesus at the end, Jesus should be putting that away one-on-one with the keeper. And suddenly Kevin De Bruyne's got attacking returns. So I don't think it's panic stations for these guys. I just don't think it is.
It's not panic. I mean,
but people are talking about
they've won the game.
Aguero's due a price drop tonight, mate.
Yeah, I think you sell now. Because you've got no reliability on him even playing at the weekend. You're not going to captain him. And talking of that, looking at City fixtures coming up, because I think this is the big problem, where you're not going to captain their assets at Liverpool at the weekend. I don't believe, even though it's a tough call, I think you'd rule out the City players. So then following that, they've got the Chelsea at home fixture, which I think's okay, by the way. Arsenal have Southampton at home, Liverpool at Palace.
Yeah, I mean, you say that. I think Jorginho and Kovacic are playing all right, and Kante's fit to come back in.
They're playing so well, Chelsea.
That central midfield, it wouldn't surprise me if they played all three, Kovacic, Kante and Jorginho, and they will then suck out the space for City. So it'll be a tough game for City. I
wouldn't mind captaining the City players against Chelsea in game week 13 because you've probably got a little bit more reliability in terms of the strength of the team you're selecting as well. So
yeah, true.
I think that's okay. But then beyond that, you look at even game week 14 away to Newcastle. Are you picking City at Newcastle, who you know defensively frustrated, beat them last year? Abraham would have West Ham at home. Mane, Salah would have Brighton at home. Kane or Son would have Bournemouth at home.
No.
Rashford or Martial would have Villa at home. Even you'd argue Vardy at home to Everton on the Sunday. You know, Rex away for a moment, Everton.
Yeah, they really
and that's the fixture that looks best for City. The following week, they have Burnley on the Tuesday night. Liverpool at home to Everton, Arsenal at home to Brighton, Leicester at home to Watford, Chelsea at home to Villa. You can start looking at Vardy and Abraham here, mate. And I think that's the point. That you're going to be looking at Liverpool a lot more than City over the next couple of weeks.
Post Burnley, it's
Therefore,
Manchester United,
I think
Arsenal,
for
Leicester.
me, I'd like to keep Sterling with Mane, but I'm not against the keeping Kevin De Bruyne either, right? I just feel like I'm not going to captain Sterling for 5-6 game weeks at least, and I'll captain Mane quite a bit. I'll probably go Mane quite a lot, quite blind, I think, once I get him in. But there's case honestly to even be looking at Vardy's, Abraham's. Quite a few people are talking about some of Kane's fixtures, particularly over the Christmas periods. Even at City, you look at, say, Sheffield United at home, and they've got that Sunday night fixture 2 days after they play at Wolves. You have any confidence in captaining one of them? No, I don't think you can. So I think Sterling to Mane or similar moves are perfectly acceptable. It's just not many weeks. And you know that they will return in these games, by the way. Just there are probably better choices.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. So there's nothing from Southampton to really look at here. From an FPL point of view, I'm still not seeing any assets at a price that's viable.
I think the one I'd mention is that quite a lot of people, a few people had gambled Mulpay or Connolly, I think particularly Mulpay, for the two Brighton fixtures, Everton and Norwich at home, with the intention of then moving that to Southampton.
Dings.
Which is now Everton at home this weekend, Arsenal away, then Watford and Norwich at home, Newcastle away, West Ham at home, Villa away. I don't know. I think you might be quite shrewd if you jump in on Southampton here, honestly. Because I don't know how much worse it can get from. Best choice would be Danny Ings, in my opinion. So I can understand that idea of in advance of Mulpay to Ings. Danny Ings is 6.0 at the moment. Redmond at 6.2 is the wild card.
Not for me.
I mean, if you were on a wild card, it's such a big call to be going over people like Tielemans slightly more and stuff. That's the problem.
There's tons of conversation in the Twitter questions about 6 million-ish midfielders. You've got from even James at Man United, you've got Yarmolenko, you've got Trossard, you've got Callum Hudson-Odoi, you've got Harvey Barnes, you've got Tielemans. You're not telling me that Redmond's a better option than any of those.
9 starts so far for Nathan Redmond this season, 1 attacking return.
Let's move on then.
0.7% owned. Don't say I don't just pick out differential. I think it could be, look, if you're that way, if you like a mad pick and stuff, Nathan Redmond's your mad pick for this weekend. There you go.
What are we doing with we do rabbit on a bit. We've got 5 games to get through. If we want to do some Twitter questions in all of 12 minutes. I don't think we're rabbiting on, but...
Well, we do lots of West Ham and Spurs on Tottenham anyway.
We do. Anybody who wants more info on West Ham and Tottenham, we'll rattle through those games nice and quick. Let's talk about Sheffield United, Lord Lundstrum versus Burnley.
Shit.
Defensively, like we're going up against Burnley away next. I was really surprised with Burnley. Again, like I didn't watch the 90 minutes, I watched the highlights, but... Burnley, you don't associate teams getting in behind Burnley so much. They set up and they're stubborn. But consistently, every attack that Sheffield United had, it was because the Burnley defenders were facing their own goal, running in, and you've got the likes of Lundstrum and Fleck getting in behind, which is irritating because I think Sean Dyche is going to shut that shit down straight away against us next week. But it's not what I would have expected from a Burnley side, allowing teams, leaving acres of space and allowing teams to get in behind. And Sheffield United did it perfectly. Like the runners coming in from midfield, the 2 goals for Lundstrum and Fleck's goal were exactly that.
It's just a comment on Burnley, and it's not particularly FPL related. But I feel like they were in massive problems kind of around Christmas time last year. We're kind of looking at them going,
yeah. And do you remember the game that they won to kickstart the second half of the season?
It was against you.
Us.
No, I don't think they're in any danger of going down. I think they've got
Nah.
enough quality of people like McNeil, good defensively,
Yeah,
etc.
when Wood comes back in that.
But I feel like they're almost getting back to that position that I think they'd got themselves in, where they're starting to be something they're not. Now, what's really important to say here is the goals that Sheffield United scored were of top standard. The two goals that Lundstrum scored in terms of the movement across the left-hand side of the pitch and the way they've sucked Burnley in and advanced. And then you've got power runners from Lundstrum on the first two goals and then Fleck on the third. And Mousse does great on all of them. I particularly like the flick for the first goal. But I wonder if with Burnley, they're in a little bit, we're trying to be something we're not again. I don't know if that's really, really harsh saying that. But I just feel like recently, defensively, it's gone from a bit, hasn't it?
It has, but I feel like that we're going to see a bounce back next week. I'm fearful of it.
Oh, so they've got you at home at the weekend.
Yeah.
Absolute certainty, mate.
What, that they'll be defensively obtuse?
Listen, you're picking your accumulator at the weekend, mate. That's your first fucking one. Burnley at home to West Ham. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, sadly. Having said that, I mean, I remember when we went away to Southampton last year, we played well, and that, I don't know, it's one of those that it could surprise us, but I was disappointed with the way Burnley played, honestly, which only means that they're going to have to bounce back.
Lundstrum, Stevens and O'Connell have more points than Matip, Robertson and Van Dijk.
I understand that, but tell me that at the end of the season if that's still true.
Well, I agree with that. That's kind of my case in point as well. But you
Tell me at the end of the
you
season.
can't argue that there's fantastic value there. Stevens has gone up. Remember, we kind of thought that 5 million price, it just couldn't possibly hold. He's 49 points return. He's fucking amazing.
Yeah,
it's just completely overshadowed by Lundstrom. And that's with only 2 assists. Obviously, the clean sheets are there, right? Was it five clean sheets for Sheffield United now?
4 or 5.
Five, I think.
Yeah. Credit to Tomo, our Sheffield United correspondent as well. He does like to go on about the Blades plenty good.
Yeah,
but he picked,
of course he will. He's also the reason why I didn't start with John Lundstrom, the fucking prick.
He
Sorry,
picked,
Tomo.
He picked Mousse out.
Yeah, he's quick to tell everyone, I know, wasn't he?
And I didn't. No, but I'm with him on this. I thought that from what I saw of Mousse coming on against us, I actually do think he's going to be their main man. At 4.9 million.
It's fucking weird, man.
Common grounds. That's no.
It's weird drink, mate.
As soon as I tasted it, it was weird. Chocolatey beer.
Chocolate and vanilla.
Manchild wanted some, didn't he?
Yeah, I'll save him
I'm
some.
going to message him and say, Manchild, come in and get some of this beer. It's lovely.
Anyway, Mousse and that. Yeah, sorry.
I think Mousse is a good shout at 4.9 million. Of all the cheap strikers, I'd actually rather have Mousse than Connolly, for example. I'd find the extra 0.2 to get to him.
Are you going to be brave enough to put Sheffield United forward in your team regularly at even that price? That's what it boils down to. We can all look at it. I think we can all say, in terms of scoring at the moment, yeah, Mousse over Connolly. The problem with is what I always say with forwards at that value, do you then have the cojones to start them?
Yeah.
This isn't like breakout of kind of Kane season or anything like that. That sort of thing's not going to be going on. Is there enough value in him now at 4.9 over some of their other defensive assets at similar prices? So, I mean, O'Connell, for example, 4.5. I really like Baldock at right wing back at 4.5. And that we seem said, even Stevens' price has gone up to 5.1. Lundstrom's is going to keep flying. So, if you go with Mousse, are you really going to play him? Therefore, I think you just go with Connolly, don't you?
He's
That's
a little bit
my
cheap.
personal
He's
opinion.
quite a bit cheaper. Yeah. And I don't disagree with your argument there. I think Mousse fits a certain structure of squad where you need a 4.9 million striker to play because you've put all your money in maybe some bigger hitters elsewhere. Let's talk about West Ham Newcastle. West Ham 2, Newcastle 3. We talked about it on our other show for regular listeners that don't know Tot and Ham, where James talks about Spurs in more detail and I talk about West Ham in more detail. But I'll give you the summary. West Ham were crap. Awful. Nothing interesting to see there at all. I thought Newcastle were good. They got us on the counter. They St. Maximin had Zabaleta on toast with cheese on top and some chili sauce. Zabaleta was done. Roberto's goalkeeping was just hideous. I talked about it on Tottenham, right? This big mummy style, woo, trying to scare the strikers.
We've already recorded it, yeah.
Yeah, what garbage that was. Actually, yeah, good point. Well, many people listening to this won't be able to listen to Tottenham because we haven't published it yet.
We'll publish it tomorrow.
Yeah, listen tomorrow.
When we record things in different orders,
it's confusing.
So fucked up.
It's confusing because I'm talking about things that have already happened. But anyway, listen to that. It's worth a listen. I think.
Excuse me.
I can't recommend any West Ham.
Can you recommend any Newcastle players? Let's just talk about Newcastle. The advice on West Ham is sell. Newcastle, go.
Maybe Williams. Maybe Williams.
I still think Richie's a threat.
I do as well, but he keeps picking up attacking returns when he's playing. Right, there's 2 assists and a goal from a 4.5 million fullback who's only played 7 games this season. 4 out of 7 at 4.5 million, you can't argue with, and he's a bulldozer. I think Saint Maximin is gonna trouble a few defenses with his pace. We talked about it last week. Him and Almiron are never going to score. If they didn't get those one-on-ones, if you can't put those away, then we're probably right. They're never going to score. So it is difficult to find the right person to go with. You may look at Shelvey. I don't know. He hit the bar in the first half.
That's a bad call.
And then put the penalty in. But 5 million doesn't seem a good option. So
no, I'd rather get Almiron in for 0.8 just for the crack to be a hero when he does eventually score in 2022.
Yeah. So no, the only player from West Ham that I'm keeping an eye on, but I won't recommend yet, but I'm keeping an eye on is Balbuena. He's only been back in the side twice, carrying the ball.
That went well.
He's much, much better. He comes out with the ball and he spreads the play, and he has some attacking threat at set pieces, and he's cheap. So he's in the Diego Rico realm of 4.2, 4.3. So you're not going to pick him and start him week in, week out. But at 4.3, he might be a reasonable bench option if you're into that kind of thing. I've seen so many squads with Diop. I don't know what people are doing with that. So he's the only one from that game. But other than that, I haven't got anything else to add from that game.
How good were Chelsea on Saturday night?
Good. It was the Ben Foster show, really, wasn't it? I was watching the highlights and bits of the game.
He had a higher XG than more than half the players in the league at the weekend.
I was just thinking
some big names.
Yeah, I was googling how old is Ben Foster because I wouldn't mind West Ham if Watford go down putting in a bid for him because I think he's an all right keeper.
Yeah, he ain't better than Flappy, in fairness.
No, but Flappy's like 33, 34 now.
I think Ben Foster's similar.
Probably similar. Yeah. I thought Chelsea were very good. I mean, Chelsea suffer from the same problem now. Where do you go? Like Mount's the one we're all on. His shot when he hit the bar, you're thinking.
So it's only you that's not on Abraham.
Yeah, true. I'm getting Abraham this week. Don't worry, that's done. But now Pulisic is sticking his hand up. He could have had a couple of goals.
Pulisic, they'll get offended in America.
Pulisic. Yeah, I think Pulisic is a consideration. I mean, that fingertip save, probably save of the weekend, wasn't it? From Foster. He tipped it away, the header.
Yeah, it was quite a comfy save, really. If it's a header from an outfield player. I thought they're annoyingly really enjoyable to watch at the moment. I thought Kovacic, again, I know it's not FPL related.
Yeah,
I thought he was stunning. So good. And the reason I keep mentioning him is because I do know that it's Jorginho that's the one who's going to get the attention. Obviously, incredible assist for Abraham's goal. And Jorginho is a better FPL asset than Kovacic, by the way, because he's on the pens and that, no doubt. But I feel like, yeah, you're right. A lot of the listeners will be on Abraham Mount. The question now is, do you add a Pulisic to it? It's brave.
Let me ask you a question, a brave question. Same price, Maddison or Pulisic?
I think maybe Pulisic.
But then
I've got a preference for Tielemans over Maddison.
Yeah,
still.
True. See, I like Pulisic over Mount maybe now, but then you look at Mount, like the way that shot that hits the bar, just he could do that anytime.
I don't know,
moment.
Mount had 3 shots on target at the weekend. I mean, it's not like he's been quiet or anything.
No,
I think
not at all. It just happened to be this week he didn't return.
What'll be really interesting, I think the advice for people thinking of investing in Chelsea this weekend is don't. So Palace at home it's just that fixture, isn't it? That gets you. And it's not to say that you can't captain Abraham, for example, if that's what you're thinking. I just think it's not the weekend to invest in them. The weekend after they go to City, and what I'm really interested to see over the next couple of weeks is, Manchild, try this beer, mate.
Manchild in the house.
It's fucking...
chocolate and vanilla beer.
It's funky, mate.
Funky?
What I'm really keen to see in the next couple of weeks is how Kante gets integrated back into the team.
Get down. For the that
it looks like fucking Guinness,
as
doesn't
a
it?
black coffee, an espresso, right?
Thank you, Cole.
It just looks like flat Coke.
Cup. That could be passed off as a coffee.
Anyway, what I was saying is I'm interested to see how Kante gets integrated. There's definitely no way that Kovacic should use his place in that team at the moment. I swear, honestly.
Nor Jorginho.
No. So do they go back to, because it was kind of Jorginho, Kante kind of rightish, mountish left. Now, to accommodate Kante back in, you're probably asking Kovacic to play a little bit higher, which actually I really like him from this deep line midfield position. So do they then go...
Do you drop Willian?
The
you
thing
drop
is,
Pulisic?
I think the more likely thing is it becomes Mount and possibly one of the wide positions. And I think Willian's playing well. And this is why I say I feel like wait till after City. Don't invest in them now, is how I feel.
I'm with you on that. Deulofeu getting away with that penalty, that was another decision I disagreed with at the weekend. I don't know why he was given that penalty. I didn't think he was...
It's a penalty.
You think so?
Yeah.
Was his shirt pulled? There was something I didn't see.
No, he tripped him.
Did he?
I mean, he went down like quicker than a few people I've met. But like, seriously, it's a foul. If it happens on the halfway line,
Are we talking about Bournemouth again?
Not this time. I'm talking about Burnley. That's a different story.
But Watford are improving defensively. They are improving defensively.
Although I think Chelsea took their foot off here. The only reason this became respectable and close from a Watford perspective is because Chelsea started taking fucking liberties. And that's how the penalty and the goal came about, was them taking liberties and just overdoing it a little bit. But they'll be better off for making these mistakes and it not costing them yet, I think. They're being brave. I really like the way they're playing. And that hurts me because I don't like them. They're thoroughly enjoyable to watch.
I think...
they will have a dip, I'm certain of it.
I think there's 7 away wins on the bounce for Chelsea, right? I think in all competitions.
I think it's
club record.
Club record,
now.
yeah.
Which
considering some of the teams have had, is incredible.
No doubt. I'm impressed with Chelsea. I'm not a hater in the sense that in the way that you don't like them. I don't like them, but I'm not.
I don't hate them. I just don't like them. They don't like me. I'm well aware.
Interesting. Let's move on because we've got a couple more games to get through. Palace 0, Leicester 2.
This is also fucking annoying.
Yeah, I mean, Leicester are... I think you can't argue that Leicester won the game, but I don't know if it was as easy as potentially...
Do you know what I did like yesterday was all the comments, and it's easy to say as an owner, but all the comments after the game when Vardy scored. He only touched the ball once. Like, starters, that actually wasn't true this weekend. But yeah, we told you, stop looking at the fucking XG and stuff. It doesn't matter. Yeah,
I mean, his goal came late, and look, I can say anything and everything we want to, but I did think Palace will be disappointed that they lost this game because defensively they were all right, but then the Suyunshu goal, you shouldn't be ghosting in like that with an organised Palace defence.
Well, I think what happened there was they'd had a number of set pieces, Leicester, where Johnny Evans had threatened.
Yeah.
And I remember I was watching the game. I was in the boozer before Spurs. I was watching the game. I was thinking, Jesus, Johnny Evans is going to score here because I've just said he's the one shit player that you can't have from Leicester. And I think they got a little over obsessed with it, and Suyuncu just managed to get it. Yeah, it was basically what happened, and you don't expect that at all from Palace.
No. We've talked about it on the show.
They conceded 2 set pieces at Arsenal the week before. So maybe they do have an underlying issue there.
Yeah, maybe.
It feels like to go back at Palace's fixtures now and try and remember further set pieces. Carry on talking, Such.
Leicester we've done to death, even on previous shows. There's so many options there. I don't even think it's worth it. But Maddison keeps creeping up in price. That's 5 returns. 1, 2, 3, 4 returns in the last 6. 3 goals, 3 assists this season. Could have been more. His delivery at set pieces is so good. Vardy's going to be getting on the end of some of these chances. I felt like Maddison was a little expensive and I could have dropped down to a cheaper option, but he keeps going up in price and every other week keeps returning and he's keeping me in. I can't let him go at the moment.
Can I just get it off my chest? Palace had not conceded a goal from a set piece prior to the Arsenal game in game week 10.
Okay,
just
fair
worked
play.
it out.
All right.
Maddison. Yeah, we were talking kind of off camera this morning, me and Suj, about a kind of a Maddison versus Tielemans. I'm kind of in camp Tielemans at 6.5, I think. I feel at the moment...
I think he had a rise this week, mate. I think he's up.
Maddison has the advantage of the set pieces. There's no doubt about it. And I think from a price perspective as well, Maddison should be returning more than Tielemans.
Correct.
Where Tielemans balances it a little bit is he's, I would say, can I say this? A better player without the ball than Maddison.
Okay.
Maddison's great on it. So I think back to like Dele Alli's real strength. Dele Alli is a really good player when the ball is not anywhere near him. He did well on it yesterday. But it's that you think of peak Dele Alli, it's that breaking into the box. Now I'm looking at Tielemans and Maddison as I have done the last couple of weeks now. Now it's 4-1-4-1 Leicester, and they're doing it a lot better than, to be honest, when you were playing well, Suj, at 4-1-4-1 at West Ham, it was working like this.
Yeah.
And Leicester have got it now. And Maddison is not playing further afield than Tielemans, in my opinion. I think Tielemans is happy to drop in and link a little bit more, but Tielemans will get into the box like Maddison doesn't. So then you've got an argument in terms of Tielemans breaking into the box and will get returns versus obviously Maddison's incredible set-piece delivery and taking as proven by the goal at Southampton a week before. I think it's personal preference.
There's not much in it. 53 points versus 51 this season so far. There's not much in it at all. Harvey Barnes sneaking in at 5.9 with 40 points, which is not bad considering his minutes. 5 assists this season, which is decent, and 1 goal. 2 against Southampton, 2 against Burnley, which kind of skews his numbers a little bit.
I just feel like, because the others are really good value, maybe don't take the concession in the one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Tielemans and Maddison are better choices, and I think if you go Barnes as well, you're suddenly looking at Vardy plus Tielemans and Maddison plus Barnes. Feels a little much when there's good defensive options. I went for Chilwell, not because he was more expensive than Soyuncu and cheaper than Pereira, and made the decision that I thought he was the best choice overall. Because value-wise, I could go to Pereira. I felt he was the best choice. He hit the post late on, should have scored the fucker. Those who've budgeted on Soyuncu, I don't think you move. Like, you don't move from Soyuncu to Chilwell or Pereira. You just stay with that, run its course. You're going to get little price rises now as well after the goal at the weekend. We weren't joking when we said last week after Southampton, there are genuinely 9 that you can look at.
Give me a 2-minute synopsis on Everton Spurs 1-1. And then we're going to get into some Twitter questions because it's
really, really sorry for Andre Gomez.
Oh,
like really overshadowed the thing. I talked about it a little bit more on tomorrow's Tottenham. No, it probably wasn't a red card. I was so gutted for Sonny as well because I know that he's the sort of character who'll pull that and he won't even care about the result. He'll probably be gutted for his professional colleague. I think everybody could see that from the images. There was no doubt there was no intention to fucking do that to the poor fella. So gutted about that. It took the gloss off. Well, there wasn't any gloss on the game anyway because it was a shit game of football. I think had it not happened, we would have won because I don't think Everton were troubling. It was a shite game of football. Don't really think you should be looking at either of these two from investment. Obviously, if you're a Sano, I wait for news at the time of recording. I'm not aware of an appeal. No. I feel even talking about it, considering the injury, feels out of context and a little bit wrong.
Yeah.
But Spurs may well appeal it and probably have grounds to do so. If you're thinking of buying Kane, if he is fit for this coming week, because you think he's the best captaincy option, in my opinion, he's not. So I would advise against it. If you've got him in pre-Everton and are now stuck there pre-Sheffield United, hold if he's fit.
Yeah. Breaking news.
Don't look at Everton. Go on, hit me.
8 minutes ago, it's on the BBC website. You may have seen this. Everton midfielder Andre Gomez is expected to make a full recovery after he had surgery to repair a fracture dislocation in his right ankle, the club have said. The 26-year-old Portugal international suffered the injury and what have you. They had surgery today and it went extremely well.
Good.
He's going to recover in hospital before starting rehabilitation. It doesn't say anywhere
timeline. He won't play again this season. It's an absolute certainty, mate.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fracture dislocation. So I suppose right now, the first and foremost thing is that he's getting a full recovery. Yeah. So that's good news from that point of view. And like Tosin said, I wish I didn't score and I wish we lost 5-0 and that hadn't happened.
Just on that, it was bloody interesting. They brought Tosin on before Calvert-Lewin and Ken.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know if there's anything in that. I think Richarlison's staying through the middle at the moment.
He had a number of shots.
I described them on tomorrow's Tottenham as Arsenal light. That's how I feel watching Iwobi and Walcott coming at me. There's no fear in that. I'm sorry. I know we've got a lot of Everton followers. I'm sorry. I think you can be better. Be better. Let's do some Twitter cues.
Should we do some Twitter cues?
Yeah.
Right. Thank you to the community for putting up a bunch of Twitter questions. And sorry that we're not going to get to as many as I would like because we've just been chatting for so long. But they all do fall into a number of camps. 60.
Pick out some stuff that we haven't covered.
Amber Redmond's got a question. What's your autobiography going to be called? Good luck, everyone.
Q Music Manchild, isn't it?
Q Music Manchild. I would have Manchild no way near my autobiography. I want to erase that man from my life. Interesting question here coming in from Morpheus Fire, and there's a couple of other questions as well. So he is asking, he says, which Palace players to jump on after game week 14. Now, because I haven't prepped, there was another question which I will find and give props to, saying, talk me out of buying Jordan Ayew after game week 14. Thoughts?
I think my reaction just talked you out of it. I'd rather go. That's one where I'd say, yeah, go Musa.
Yeah.
I think Wilf Zaha. If I'm looking at me now going into this weekend, holding Pookie Cantwell, I'm thinking game week 13. I'm looking at Mendy as probably sub this weekend. Make a move Pookie to Connolly, and I think game week 14 away to Burnley before a sea of greens in December. Wilfried Zaha might be where I'm exchanging the money. I might just go for it. Do you know what's holding me back in my mind?
No, I don't.
It's the transfer window. It's literally the only thing.
That he could be sold.
Just in terms of where he's going to be at mentally, I think.
It was, I found the question, it was the number one Ruben. So Ruben was asking, talk me out of getting Jordan Ayew after game week 13.
I didn't need to.
Yeah, it's mad. There's only one.
No. It's not mad. He's 5.1 million. He's playing every week. He's scored 44 FPL points so far this season, which is 4 goals. Goals in important away games at Arsenal, at West Ham, at Manchester United. That's the problem. Look at his 4 goals scored. They're in games you'd probably leave him out.
FPL Frenzy. Is it time to leave the Pookie party? I think that time was a little while ago, mate.
Yeah,
so that's a quick answer.
In hindsight,
yes.
yeah, it definitely was a little while ago, but I don't know.
It is what it is.
I think it's important where you bought at is a consideration. People will get, if you've bought at 6.8, you're probably thinking, shit, I don't want to let it go to 6, 7. But then at the moment, the worst transfer of my season so far was bringing in Cantwell. I got him in at a period where I knew I had some issues and he could cover me. And he did cover me with his 2 points, the bastard. It was a mistake. Having already had Pookie in the squad, I did not need to be making that move. But at the moment, I'm letting Cantwell go. And one of the reasons I'm doing that is because I know there is enough good value around Tielemans, Zaha level, where I so easily get to these guys. Up to Pulisic if I want to, whatever. So I don't feel enforced to, I'm taking the hit on the value, but I'd rather get the player I want and make the right decision.
Jay at FPL Dr. Pepper. I'm not chiming in on some of these questions because I know you've got it covered, mate, and I'm trying to work on speed here.
Okay.
Is Lucas an option if Son is suspended? Have a look at Tottenham if you don't mind, Jay, because we do talk about that as a potential topic of conversation.
Yeah, worth a listen. One of the things to talk about briefly is the idea that I think the invention of the diamond formation was to get the very best out of Son. And I don't think we'll necessarily play it with him missing if he is, which means Lucas probably will be playing games, but it'll probably be in a wide position.
What are your thoughts on Foyt taking Aurier's shirt?
Do you know what? Actually, he did all right yesterday.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, yesterday, but
he did all
in
right.
the grand scheme of things, would you play Foyt ahead?
I don't know. Is it better?
I don't know.
Like, Aurier knows the position, right? The thing is, right, you're shit with the ball, but in a game like that, defensively, he didn't worry me yesterday. That's what I want from him specifically. From my other fullbacks, I want more on the ball. What I want with him is not to give me a fucking heart attack. And yesterday, he got through the game and didn't worry me at all.
Yeah,
I think, like with Son as well, like the collision was awful, and I think he felt it quite badly as well. Mentally for Aurier,
of course. At Kevin Naylor at Nails with a Z and a Y 19. Would you take a hit to replace Aubameyang with Vardy before the Leicester Arsenal game this weekend, or stick with Aubameyang and ride it out? It's a tricky one here.
Yeah.
I think from my point of view,
now's a good time to cover it. I'm going to captain Vardy this weekend.
Yeah, I just think Aubameyang's price is only going one way and Vardy's is only going the other. So you kind of sort of have to decide if you want to make that move now. I think Vardy has a potential to be quite explosive, whereas Aubameyang is just ticking along. I'm not going to buy. I've made a kind of decision in my mind. I'm not going to buy players from teams that I don't think are playing well or cohesive. So Spurs fall in that bracket, Arsenal fall in that bracket, United fall in that bracket.
So
West Ham
basically, we've got Liverpool, Man City, Leicester, Chelsea, and Sheffield United. Is that what you're saying?
That's pretty much my team though now. Ederson.
Well, I think it's pretty much what a lot of us are going to end up with.
Yeah. So I'm not looking at Aubameyang now, and I know he can hurt me, but so could a lot of players that I don't own. So I'm gonna go without.
Is it worth the hit? Probably not. No. Yes, if you're going to captain him.
We already answered Panajot's question, which is the better trio from Liverpool: Mane, Salah, Trent, or Mane, Trent, Robbo. I think we're going with the defensive option.
To be honest,
better value for money.
It's TAA, Robbo, and then the other one. Like make your personal choice. And once you've gone the one, the Mane or the Salah, just that's it. It's over. Stay with it.
Yeah.
It's easier to say if you're going Mane, I think, at the moment. I think Salah owners are possibly having a bit of a wobble. The fact that he was taken off at the weekend is really interesting as well. Well, no, 1-0 down, you take him off.
Yeah, I just, from what I hear, it's because of this ankle injury. They're trying to protect him a little bit.
Don't fucking play him then.
Yeah, possibly, maybe. Gary Hunt, sorry, not Gary Hunt. He asked the question, Mount or Pulisic. Well, we've talked about that when we talked about the Chelsea game. FPL governor. With so many more FPL managers and what seems like more price volatility, which I do agree with, are the days of waiting until the last minute to make FPL transfers gone? What are your thoughts on that?
No, they're not. I actually feel a little bit like what I've said. Take mine, Mendy Chilwell last week. I knew what I was doing in advance, so it was just wait to see did either of them play on the Tuesday night. Okay, fine, make the moves. But actually, because there are so many good, I feel, particularly in the midfield area, options that you can consider, like from a value perspective. If you get the right one in, they will go up in value anyway. Yeah,
they will. The volatility, in my opinion, is masked by the fact that there are so many options. If the prices were a bit higher so there's never been a situation where I'm struggling to afford who I want to, and I've spent most of the season.
You just said you've got to make your moves quick because you'll be priced out.
I've got 0.2 left if I make these moves, but there's never, most game weeks this season, I've had more than 1.1 million, 1 million or like 0.8 or whatever in the bank. And that has never created the urgency for me to want to move early, which is a result of the prices being so many affordable players being there. But I do agree that the volatility in the early, like Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, there's more price rises than there was last season maybe. And that is a result of more players. But it hasn't affected me moving early, although it probably will this week. I don't know if that helps in any way whatsoever.
I think what we might have seen, and I think this will change now, the game passed 7 million players at the weekend. Yeah. I mean, we say that, right? Yeah, everybody knows there's fucking 1 million players with 2 teams, right? Me and Suj are...
Or 1 million players with 7 teams.
Me and Suj are not those guys. No. We have our friends.
My wife's managing my North team now.
Is she? No. I
tell her she's from the
My
North
son is managing my Southern team. And Manchild's brother is running differential team. And Matchild has the login for the dead team, so we're fucked if he changes it. Yeah, there's a lot of that. So it's not 7 million players. Let's be real and honest. There's 1 million players with 2 teams for differential or zombie purposes or whatever. But in terms of live teams, I feel like it's been close enough this year that people may be staying live a little bit more. Like I said, at kind of at the top of the show, I feel like this weekend was the change of that, the comeback of live teams against dead teams.
A fantastic question from Jord FPL at FPL_Jord, which we can't answer. It might be Jordan.
Why not? Go on.
Because it says, if you could give somebody one piece of advice on how to be a successful FPL manager, what would it be? Switch off. Don't listen to us. I just like the irony of thinking that we're like, I've never had a rank higher than
do what I advise, don't do what I do.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Do as I say, not as I do. But also don't do as I say, because it's hard. I don't think there is.
Everybody will have different styles, be it a lot of the listeners will listen to podcasts or they'll read content or they'll run eye test or whatever. I think the best managers will have their way, whether it's statistical or eye test or whatever, but also be open to change. So like I'm very heavy on the eye test, and unfortunately ain't going to change me, and that's probably why I'll never win FPL. Yeah, because to be honest with you, I ain't got the time to look at the numbers in the way that a lot of people will do.
It is time consuming,
and that is Suj's fucking fault.
Well, that's a story for another day. I think James is right in terms of develop your own style. I've always been one of those that likes to spread my money across my entire squad rather than powering into big hitters. I think the one thing that does help differentiate people that do particularly well ahead of others, and I cannot give you a way of doing this, but picking a player before he goes on a run. A lot of the good managers that I've seen are trying to forward plan fixture runs of non-template players with less than 20% ownership and when they're going to have a run. And if you can pick 3 or 4 or 5 over the course of a season, that could be 200 odd points, 50 points per player.
Well, really take that Zaha, that's the case, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
So rather than, because what will happen is you get to game week 15 and you look at Bournemouth, Watford, Brighton, Newcastle, and you think that's the time. But maybe it's with the way Burnley are not looking so secure at the moment.
Yeah.
That brave gamble, and obviously you can go either way, that brave gamble to go, no, I'm going Wilfred Zaha in game week 14. I bet I don't do it, you know. I bet I bottle it.
Well, you never know. You might get a personalised video.
The problem with Zaha is
goading you into it, mate.
Yeah. Can we imagine how that video is going to go?
Well, do you remember the video that he put out after the West Ham game where he was butt naked in his bed the day after? He put an Instagram.
Who is this? Wilf or Zaha. Danny Ings? I'm
Zaha.
Lost now.
He was
or Rambo.
There was some, I think his celebration or something where people were giving him grief or he got abuse or something.
So he took an Instagram video of himself butt naked in his bed.
He wasn't naked, but he wasn't
Who the
wearing
fuck do you follow?
Half. It was on Twitter, Wilf Zaha. I don't know where it is nowadays.
I never saw that.
Anyway.
Going Zaha, it's all right me having the bollocks now and saying 2 weeks in advance. Yeah, I'm probably going Zaha in 14.
Don't get anywhere much hope.
When I get there in game week 14, I'm going to be thinking, yeah, I'm going for Pulisic or Tielemans. Yeah. I'm going to bottle it and go safe, probably.
Well, let's see.
Yeah.
We just need your help for 1 second. Yeah, Jord FPL. He's got I think it's like a Trinidad and Tobago flag. I'd be interested to know what flag
It's
that is.
Christmas Island. Oh my God,
is
Suj
it
knows.
Christmas Island?
Christmas knows.
There
Suj
we
knows
go.
so little.
If you could give somebody one piece of advice on how to be a successful FPL manager, what would it be? Look in the camera and tell them, mate. If you could give one piece of advice, man.
The audio listeners have got to hear you too.
I've struggled with this for a while, and honestly, I think it's
We ain't got
something
all day.
that's fundamental. Remember your password.
All right, mate.
Yeah, that's the start. It's true.
A question for you,
We all know
James.
that your password's password.
I'm not going to try that.
Yeah. Question for you, James. Matt at McGoodwin FPL. For those of us still with Wildcard, what's the best time to deploy it? You have 2 game weeks in mind.
Yeah, I haven't decided yet, Matt. When do we have to use it by? Is it before game week 20? I think
Christmas.
You can still. No, it's not.
It's before Christmas.
I think game week 20. You can still use it in game week 20. I think.
I will do some investigation.
You look into that while I talk
decide when
about
you're
it.
going to do it.
Definitely not before game week 18 for me because I'm kind of in a position where I'm quite happy with it.
Yeah.
And I might go a bit rogue when I do it and try something depending on position, etc. I'm probably more likely to stay with a template and just improve the things that I want to. One of the benefits of still having it is manoeuvring around this Liverpool fixture issue, which we spoke a little bit about on the People's Poll in terms of game week 17, home to Watford, looks amazing. Game week 18, no game. Game week 19, away to Leicester. And I'm quite happy to say that I'm in a position now in terms of I don't yet know the best way of manoeuvring that.
But you will figure it out.
But I will figure it out.
Cool.
It might be a case that I wild card things that will cover me game week 18 and keep TAA Robertson, for example, and make sure I fix up the bench so I'm ready to come back to them. A lot of people are obviously just going to see the fixtures, go Liverpool to City and then back again. I don't know the answers yet. I think for those of us who've still got it, we're probably holding it till the end now to manoeuvre that potentially can give us some sort of small advantage because the majority of people are probably going to hold 2 through, I would say, and leave them on the bench.
Game week 20, which starts at 11:30 on the 28th of December. Got to use your wild card before then.
Which game week?
20.
Yeah. I mean, I might even do it then. Yeah.
A question from Raj at Mr. Raj Pop. Raj, how are you? I know Raj. How was Son's tackle a red card? The explanation from the FA would deem that all tackles are red cards. That's a bit of a difficult.
I feel a little bit. Honestly, I feel a little bit uncomfortable talking about it because of what happened to the fella. I really, really do. We put the poll out last night for the People's Poll, and I felt like I needed to apologise first. I shouldn't. It's not my fucking fault. I didn't do it, but I still felt it was a little bit insensitive.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
But then we put that poll out at 6:30, 7 o'clock every Sunday, and I was like, should I hold this off for a bit? It don't quite feel right because I'd watched the last 15 minutes of a football game. And obviously cared, but I did feel like, I don't know, there's more important things sometimes, isn't it?
There is.
Didn't feel quite right. So, and I think that's possibly the problem that Tottenham have here is like...
Just leave it be.
It's not a red card, but it might just be better to let it go.
Just let it go.
I don't know the right answer. I think like from the game perspective, the tackle happens, Atkinson pulls out the yellow card straight away. He sees the state that poor Gomez is in and changes his mind. And Son don't kick up a fuss, does he? I don't think Son's even thinking about the red card. If he hadn't got sent off, he'd have got taken off because he couldn't have continued, mate.
No. Thoughts on this is not a Twitter question, but we've got a couple of minutes. I'm going to wrap up quickly. Thoughts on this? Apparently, Real Madrid offering Gareth Bale plus 70 million for Raheem Sterling in the transfer window. Pep said no, he's not interested, but
I don't believe he would be.
It's a mental offer.
He's got a more dynamic player there already at the club.
Younger. Really
I'm talking about Leroy Sané here, by the way. No, honestly, I mean that's comparable in terms of ability. That left-footed, that ability to drop the shoulder, go on the outside.
Just finish. It's just class.
Leroy Sané, yeah, eyes open on that return date. he could. Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised. We're kind of in a position now. We're going, yeah, Liverpool edge it this weekend.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be right surprised now if Sané comes back and fires up for City.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Brings them right back into it for sure.
We think it's not going to be for at least another 6 to 8 weeks or so. Yeah.
Yeah, he's out. He's 9.3 at the moment, so he's not going to drop anymore because 0% ownership. FPL_Ogs. We're going to end with this, which means we're going to overrun a little bit, but I hope people feel like it was worth it. If you could create the perfect current Premier League player.
Oh.
I don't know. Does that mean we're not allowed to have players from the past?
This is going to be a 10-minute conversation.
We'll make it quick. You just pick one for each of these.
Okay. Which
current Premier League player? So let's say we can pick players from the past as well.
He said current, didn't he?
But to play in the current Premier League, but
the question's current, isn't it?
Yeah.
Go current then. Do you not know current players? Go current. The question's current.
I'll tell
Someone
you why,
will ask it
one
previous
of the things
next
he's
week.
asking about is nipples, and I've already gone with Ryan Giggs'
Excuse
hairy
me?
carpet on his chest. Well, we are picking like right foot, left foot, and stuff as well.
What kind of a question's this? I thought it was going to be who's good in the air.
Whose brain would you have?
Brain?
Yeah.
From current Premier League players?
Yeah, man.
Whoa. That's...
Requires some deep thought.
Jorginho,
you think he's clever?
I do, yeah. One of the things that's interesting is there was a period last autumn where sort of Spurs put Ali there, and I think Arsenal then did something similar in January to really unsettle him. And we're not really seeing it at the moment. People, I think that Jorginho and Kovacic are playing so well in there, people are going to start coming up with different ideas. Jorginho's a very, very clever footballer.
Left foot?
Sane.
Leroy Sané, who's not fit at the moment, potentially. Right foot, you've got it. It's going to be Trent or Kevin De Bruyne.
God, that's awful. Can I have De Bruyne's left foot and
take De Bruyne's left and TAA's right, and I think we'll still be all right.
De Bruyne. Just a little bit more power.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Trent on that one. Hands? Who's got the smallest hands in the league?
Hands, it's got to be... It's either Edison or Addison, isn't it?
I'll tell you whose hands I won't have, and we'll end on that bombshell. Felipe Anderson, because that guy was wearing gloves at the weekend. If there's one thing I don't like, it's footballers who wear gloves.
The one that annoys me is the gloves and the short sleeves. I can't get over it.
Yeah.
I spoke to you before about goalkeepers.
Wesley, right?
Goalkeepers who wear short sleeves.
Yeah. That's Alisson.
Fuck off. Put long sleeves on.
Nah, I don't mind goalkeepers with short sleeves. It's a t-shirt at the end of the day. But yeah, strikers.
And who's got the best nipples? Yeah. Was that one of the questions?
It was.
Have you got an answer for that?
Well, I was going to pick Ryan Giggs because of the carpet that he had on his chest.
He's not a current player.
No, he's not. I don't know. Probably Wilf Zaha, because I've seen his nipples from his Instagram videos from his bed.
I reckon Tielemans got great boobs.
Okay. Fair play. There we go. And on that note, I hope we have been through as many of the Twitter questions as we can. And apologies again, because we do appreciate when people do send them in and we don't get around to doing all of them.
We just talk too much.
Yeah, I think we'll look next year after Christmas at maybe doing a separate Q&A show or something like that. We'll figure that out. But it's not for now, I'm afraid.
Spoilers.
Yeah, maybe.
Seven,
I don't know. We'll
seven podcasts a week.
Oh, I can't do this.
What?
Ron Weasley sent a question in, and he also messaged me to ask me what time the tweet was going out to say, are you going to ask?
I even DM'd him the shit. You got to do the question now.
We got to do the question.
Oh, God,
Ron,
this is a long one.
Tom. Oh, I gave away his real name. Ron. We got to do your question. And it's quite topical as well, because most of the people will be listening to this tomorrow, and it's Guy Fawkes Day tomorrow. Ron Weasley's question of the day with Guy Fawkes Day. He's trying to chuck a bit of VAR in there tomorrow. You're only allowed to save one of these 4 things from burning on the bonfire. Which one will it be?
I mean, this is so easy.
Your club season ticket.
Yep, that's it. We don't need the other 3.
Stockley Park. That can go. Your Mrs. Wardrobe or your triple captain chip.
I wish he would fucking set that wardrobe on fire. Or should I say wardrobes. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Triple captainship is normally
it's probably the least valuable
It's normally
chip.
a flop anyway.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I banged
Stockley Park, where's the fucking match?
that. Yeah.
Let's get rid of that.
Yeah, it's club season ticket every time. Albeit I've lost mine. I don't even know where the fuck it is. And I haven't
loses his season ticket.
I haven't
so
had a
much.
replacement. But you know what? Now, when I phoned them up to get a replacement, they activated something on my account that I can download my ticket.
They've got you can have your ticket on your app now.
Okay, yeah. I think
You
it's
need one of
similar.
them.
You can download because you have eticketing.co.uk, same as us. So I think
whatever,
you can do that. So now I don't even need to find my season ticket because I can just download them. My Mrs. Wardrobe's not actually that bad, mate. She returns everything that she buys. I don't even know why she bothers buying it in the first place. The amount of times parcels
She's one of them
you buy it,
wasting
send it
fucking
back.
the time
Postage,
of FedEx and Parcel Force
she's
and all
polluting
that.
the world with fucking fumes of transport delivery companies and stuff.
Bring my fucking dress.
Yeah, triple captain chip. Forget about it. It's not worth it. I'm keeping my season ticket, and as Ron is a fellow West Ham season ticket holder, he knows that that's bloody painful as well at the moment right now. So, yeah, keeping the season ticket, mate. Despite our clubs,
I'm gonna pick on Ron here, and you would like this. I saw he got a tattoo a few weeks ago.
Yeah. He did, and he himself tweeted about it.
You ain't fucking won since, have you?
No. Well, he did say it. I've got the tweet right in front of me. I got this before the Palace game. We've not won since. Time to get it lasered off. No is the answer. Always be positive.
What happens if it gets to February and you're 19th and you haven't won?
Then I'll be taking a blade to cut it out of his chest at the same time. But do follow Ron at Big Geezer Ron Weasley 66 on Twitter because he's always good for a laugh. Anything else to add, James? Because we've now gone into that squeaky bum injury time.
Tottenham tomorrow.
Yes.
We do a bit more in terms of West Ham's crisis and Spurs tactically, maybe without Son. Sky Podcast Wednesday. Clash of the Correspondents this Thursday. We're anticipating a bit of a banger. Midlands derby, Wolves versus Villa with Bradley Parker at Parker_Bradley and Adam Hopcroft.
But they're both quite, they're both quite nice.
Hopcroft 13. I think they like each other. I don't think they like the opposition, though.
We need to find some spicy questions.
That's all right. I got Liverpool against United in January locked up. Shout out there to Dan FPL Loco Lord. Is my cat playing? That's the one where this whole Thursday thing's gonna fucking unravel. Nah, they're good lads as well, unfortunately. Friday final plan where I think me and Sid are gonna deep dive into captaincy a bit more over the next few weeks because tough.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'll be Vardy at the weekend. You?
I don't know. Honest answer. I set my bus
You're
team.
a star.
I set my bus team at the weekend
It's
yesterday,
on Sun, isn't it?
and it was on Sun. So I haven't given it a consideration yet. So we'll see. We could talk forever.
Let's go home. I need a wee.
West Ham had just put a tweet out. West Ham clips. Roberto's first West Ham interview. Every time he blinks, he concedes a goal. That's weird. That's some weird stuff. He blinks every time someone takes a shot.
You're a strange lot, you are.
Yeah, we get it
Let's go home.
from you. Ciao for now.
Cue music, man, child. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for listening.
Messi, encara 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 Messi.